There is a number that tells you everything about where this tournament stands today. 6. Not the number of host cities causing problems. Not the number of weeks until the final. 6 is the number of separate, simultaneous, active crises that FIFA is managing on the morning of May 30th, 2026, 12 days before the opening ceremony at the Azteca. 6 crises. Running at the same time. Each one real, each one documented, each one requiring FIFA's attention, its legal resources, its diplomatic channels, or all three simultaneously. And each one arriving in the final 2 weeks before the biggest tournament in the sport's history kicks off. We're going to go through all 6 today. Not to argue that the tournament is finished, it isn't. Not to say the football won't be extraordinary, it will be. But because if you want to understand what's actually happening right now, and why this is unlike the build-up to any previous World Cup, you need to see the full picture. Not one crisis at a time. All of them together, because together, they tell a story about an organization that planned the most ambitious sporting event in history, locked in the commercial model early, and is now discovering that controlling a tournament of this scale, across 3 countries, 48 nations, and every fault line in the modern world, is something no single organization was ever truly designed to do alone. Let's start with the one that's been developing the longest. Because it has a new twist today, Iran is coming to the World Cup. That much has been confirmed. Their base camp is in Tijuana, Mexico. They cross the border for match days. FIFA confirmed it. Mexico confirmed it. The Tijuana arrangement was agreed after the U.S. indicated it did not wish to host the Iranian squad on its soil for the duration of the tournament. But Iran's situation added a new legal dimension this week that nobody in football governance was prepared for. FIFA has banned the lion and sun flag, the pre-revolutionary Iranian symbol, from World Cup stadiums. This is not new. FIFA has applied the same ban at previous tournaments, consistent with its policy of displaying only the official national flag of each competing nation. The current Iranian state flag is the red, white, and green tricolor with the Islamic Republic emblem. But on May 26th, 4 days ago, an organization called the Institute for Voices of Liberty issued FIFA with a formal legal threat. It says the ban on the lion and sun flag discriminates against the millions of Iranians in the diaspora who associate that symbol with a different Iran, a different identity, a different history. The legal threat is directed at FIFA specifically, and it arrived in the middle of a week when FIFA was already dealing with Attorney General subpoenas in New York and New Jersey, an Ebola outbreak affecting one of its qualified nations, and a worker strike threat at one of its host stadiums. FIFA is now managing a legal threat over a flag. 12 days before kickoff, Crisis 2, the Attorney General investigation. This one broke 3 days ago and we covered it in detail this week, but the update today adds something important. New York City's Consumer Protection Commissioner confirmed that the investigation will specifically examine whether FIFA violated the city's consumer protection law by misleading fans about seat locations and artificially inflating prices. Between October 2025 and April 2026, FIFA raised ticket prices for more than 90 of the 104 matches by an average of 34%. Fans who bought Category 1 seats were assigned to Category 2 areas. They are being told to report their complaints to the Attorney General's office. FIFA has issued no substantive public response to the subpoenas. It has not confirmed whether it will comply, cooperate, or challenge them. The subpoenas carry legal force. FIFA's silence, 12 days before its own tournament opens in the jurisdiction that issued them, is a posture that has legal consequences it cannot indefinitely defer. Crisis 3. The Ebola quarantine is expanding, and today it has crossed into Canada. Canada's Public Health Agency confirmed this morning, May 30th, that Canadian citizens, permanent residents, and other foreign nationals who have been in affected areas in recent weeks must quarantine for 21 days from today. Mexico's health secretary has outlined tighter Ebola screening measures at airports and urged arrivals from the Democratic Republic of Congo to observe a 21-day quarantine, DR. Congo's players are currently in Belgium. They are scheduled to remain there, quarantined through June 9th at the latest, before traveling to the United States. The timeline is tight. The match against Portugal in Houston is on June 17th, which means if the quarantine runs its full duration, the squad has approximately a week between clearance and their opening game. Training in a quarantine bubble against a full pre-tournament preparation schedule is not normal preparation for a World Cup, and Congo's fans, the supporters who have been waiting 52 years for this moment since the 1974 World Cup, remain subject to travel restrictions that no diplomatic intervention has resolved. The joy of qualifying, the historic achievement of ending a half-century absence, is being experienced almost entirely from outside the tournament. Crisis 4. The SoFi Stadium worker dispute. 2,000 workers at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Cooks, dishwashers, servers, the people who run the food and hospitality operations for 69,000 fans at the venue hosting 8 World Cup matches, still do not have a finalized labor contract. The union, Unite Here Local 11, has 3 demands: job protections during the tournament, affordable housing support, and a formal declaration that immigration enforcement agencies will have no presence at World Cup venues. FIFA has not commented publicly on the strike threat. The Los Angeles matches, including the U.S. opener against Paraguay on June 12th, are less than 2 weeks away. A walkout at SoFi would not cancel the football, but it would create operational conditions at one of the tournament's most high-profile venues that FIFA's communications team would spend weeks trying to explain away. The Ebola quarantine, the flag legal threat, the Attorney General subpoenas, the worker dispute. Those are 4 crises running simultaneously. And they're not the strangest stories of this week. Crisis 5. A Saudi Arabian footballer had his passport stolen at his own wedding. This is not a metaphor. It's a real thing that happened. Saud Abdulhamid, a defender in Saudi Arabia's World Cup squad, was unable to travel to Riyadh for the national team's training camp as scheduled because his private vehicle was broken into in Amsterdam, where he was with his family for his wedding ceremony. The incident resulted in the loss of personal belongings, including his passport. The Saudi Arabian Football Federation issued a formal statement confirming they were working with authorities and the Saudi embassy to resolve the situation. The passport has presumably been replaced or will be. The situation is being resolved. But the detail sits in the news cycle like a small, absurd symbol of how many things can go wrong simultaneously when you bring 48 nations and their entire squads to 3 countries across a continent in the same 2-week window. The logistics of getting that many people to that many places, squad members, staff, officials, family members, support personnel, is an operation of extraordinary complexity. And complexity creates exposure. And then there is Crisis 6, which may be the most consequential of all, and the one receiving the least attention. The FAA yesterday, May 29th, announced a comprehensive drone ban over all World Cup matches and fan events across the United States. During match days, all aircraft operations, including drones, are prohibited within a radius of 3 nautical miles and up to 3,000 feet above ground level around stadiums, unless specifically authorized by air traffic controllers. For fan events, the exclusion zone is 1 nautical mile and up to 1,000 feet. This is not a gentle advisory. This is a federal aviation restriction covering every one of the 11 American host cities, every match day, every fan festival. It encompasses commercial photography drones, delivery drones, hobbyist equipment, media drones, and any other aircraft not specifically cleared through air traffic control. The practical effect for the television coverage and media production around this tournament is significant. Much of modern sports broadcasting, the overhead stadium shots, the city panoramas, the crowd atmosphere footage, relies on drone equipment that is now prohibited over every match venue. Production companies covering the tournament will need to reroute their aerial work through manned aircraft authorizations or rely on fixed-position cameras. The security reasoning is clear and understandable. The operational complexity is real, and there is a broader dimension. The drone ban is one of more than 40 security measures being applied across the tournament's American venues. The security infrastructure around this World Cup is, by any measure, the most extensive ever deployed at a sporting event. Over 100,000 security personnel in Mexico alone. Federal grant funding for security in the United States that arrived months late and required press inquiry to confirm. Security perimeters around stadiums that have eliminated all parking and turned entire city blocks into controlled zones.